Hey there, my friends. This is Andy coming to you live from Southern California. It has been a wild day. My son and I went to our church today. As you probably, some of you that watch my personal page saw that I was broadcasting on the way to church. There was a special event with Charlie Kirk, Dinesh D'Souza, David Harris Jr., the Dr. Erickson, obviously Pastor Jack and all that. And it was a fantastic, it's going to be showing tomorrow. So watch my page. If you don't follow Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills, or any of, I forget the name. What's the name of it? What's it called? Essential, non-essential, official, non-essential, I think. Just type it in the search and you'll find it. Maybe somebody who was there may be able to type it in there. Maybe, oh, look at that. My producer, Amy's on. Maybe she can find it. I sent her the link earlier today. But it was great. It was I don't know. For me, it was a fantastic. I was going to say fabulous. Where was I going to get fabulous from? It was a fantastic event. Just my hands are sore from clapping, the standing ovations. It was almost like I was back in Catholic church where you stand up and everything but kneel was going on. But it was a great event. Tomorrow, I'm telling you, you have to watch. You have to watch. There was so much positivity, and it kind of led me to doing the show tonight. Again, kind of impromptu as I was with the kids at the skate park and doing some other stuff. I came up with this thought because I've been reading this new book that I got here. It's called Man to Man. And it starts off with your transcendent cause. And a transcendent cause is not something that I was necessarily familiar with before I read this book. When I think of transcendency, I think of God. I never really equated it to man necessarily. Now I know, people that are in the military, some police officers, firemen, doctors, what have you. The average person driving down the freeway sees something and they jump into action and put their lives in danger. That there's, that is a thing that happens every day, right? I saw it as a police officer for 21 years at the city of Anaheim. As a police officer, I've heard of other stories, men and women doing some amazing things in at the moment that they need to do something, where they put their life above somebody else's. First, what I want to do, I want to talk about how it applies to God, and I'm going to bring in something I found online, and it may or may not be the perfect translation, but just to bring it up here. Hold on, I got to find the right tab. Where'd it go? There it is. All right. And I'm just going to read the first couple paragraphs. So what does transcendent mean? How is God transcendent? Transcendent means above, higher than, or independent from all others. We sometimes speak of an athlete whose abilities transcend all others. We may speak of a moment of our life that stands out as a highlight and transcends other times of our life. What does it mean, however, that God is transcendent? In relation to God, transcendent is the idea that he exists both above and independently from all creation. In other words, there is no other created thing that matches his power. In addition, nothing else can interfere with his power. He created all space, time, energy, and matter. Therefore, he is able to control all things he pleases. And I think that's a pretty strong meaning that obviously does not apply to us. However, when I was at the event today, that's the reason I told you about the event and kind of went in a little bit of detail, is one of the things that was brought up often was this thing that's going on in our world and has been going on for a long time, and that is the act of aborting a child. And I have to tell you that my view of abortion has changed over the years in relationship to that. I would never, if I was involved in a relationship and my, the lady I was with got pregnant, that I would never encourage an abortion. That has never been anything that's. I was raised a Catholic, even though I went agnostic for a period of time and later became Christian. There was a time where I thought, I'm not sure that the government needs to be involved either way. And it was due to my lack of education and understanding and being a godly man that I thought that way, quite honestly. And so it's been over the last several months that I've become closer to God, reading the Bible, listening to people speak, listen to very persuasive discussions on abortion, and the craziness of the Democrats in our world, the complete lunacy where they have gone overboard in so many areas, and really brought this to the forefront of my mind, where you can now abort a child all the way up to the 9th month. That is murder. That is craziness. There's no other word for it. And so how this kind of came about to where I'm having the show today, and of course, this show isn't necessarily all about me. However, it is about that all of us that are either Christians or Republicans, we have an opportunity here to be somewhat transcendent, where we begin to speak up and to do things that we might not normally do, to begin to save lives. And I think it's necessary because we have been so silent. We've often talked about today about the silent majority, that there's a silent majority of people in our country, and if not the world, that believe in God, that believe in saving children, that believe in having a higher purpose, but yet we say nothing to do it. We say nothing in response to it, or we stay silent because we don't want to upset a family member or a friend, or we don't want to lose a customer or lose business because we're business owners. That we stay silent, even though we know that if we speak out, we could save a life. We could save more than one life. We could save several lives. And here we are being silent. And we shouldn't have to be we shouldn't have to use this example of being transcendent in order to do that. But I hear people all the time. I get messages from people. I have conversations with people that say, you know what, Andy, I like the way that you do these lives and you actually speak out and you are vocal in your position. You're vocal in what's going on in this world, because I can't do it. And I say, why? And their answer is, because I don't want to upset people, or I feel uncomfortable, or because my business won't allow me to speak up, that I can't have a sign like this on a Zoom call. Oops, sorry. I can't have a sign like this up on a Zoom call because I'll get fired. Or it'll offend somebody. What? Our American flag, Jesus Christ, and our president cannot be up where people can see it because people will cancel you or you'll be fired? What? I mean, that is really crazy. My son, who's sitting over here, was making a video the other day, and in the video, it had this sign was up, and then we have another sign over here that says, "A man's heart plans his way, not the Lord." Wait, hold on. A man's heart plans his way, but the Lord determines his steps. Proverbs 16:9. And so both of these were in his video. And when he sent it to the teacher says, "Hey, can you cover those things up? Can you block them out? Because they're offensive, or we can't show political statements or a position." So I understand maybe this one because it says Trump on there, but this one because it says Lord cannot be on there and cannot be seen. And they can use what, it might upset somebody, or it's not allowed because we would then have to allow Allah up there or something like that. And this is where I think, and I may be going too far, and I need somebody to help me out. If you have a comment about this, that this idea of speaking out and putting these things up so people can see them, in some cases, may be that in your case, you're moving into a place of being transcendent, because now you're being bold. Now you're speaking out in the chance that you may be fired, in the chance that you may lose a customer, in the chance that you may lose business. It's not probably, not at least in the United States, let's hope for in the safety of your home, that you're going to lose your life. However, in the world of BLM and Antifa, who knows, right? Who knows that, I have a Trump flag in front of my house, and I know there's people uncomfortable putting a Trump flag in front of the house because they say that's a target now. Your house is now a target for somebody coming down. If Black Lives Matters moves into this neighborhood, that your house definitely will be set afire, set ablaze. And it really is strange, is it not, that these things are putting you in a position that you have to decide, can I put that up? If I do, will my house be torched? Will gunfire ring out into my windows? And it is really odd. I don't have any way to put it. And so when we're talking about abortion, when we're talking about believing in God, when we're talking about being a conservative, and I hear people saying, I cannot say that out loud because of X, this is sad. And I know that I come on here and encourage you all the time to do this all the time. And I know I'm repeating myself. I know this is a repetitive speech of mine, but I cannot stop myself from continuing to encourage you to be bold and to be strong and to be vocal and to speak out and stop being silent. I know that it's dangerous. I know that it's risky business. But let me read you a couple of things here just to kind of motivate you. That sometimes you have to be so bold and put yourself in a position of possible danger. Again, I'm not talking about what I'm going to read about here about being in, this is a book, again, called Man to Man. It's written by Lieutenant General retired William G. Boykin. And he's, in this part of the book, he's talking about Black Hawk Down, where he was in charge. He was in charge of Delta Force during the Black Hawk Down incident in Mogadishu, Somalia, where two helicopters went down. Two Black Hawk helicopters went down. One went down, and then a little bit later, another went down. They were about a mile and a half, maybe a mile or more apart, 2 miles apart. And the story that he brings up is where on the second crash, because everybody had gone to the first crash, everybody that he can find, including typists, including people that were like, that weren't necessarily armed forces, found a gun to go see if they can help save the first helicopter that went down. And when the second helicopter went down, they didn't have anybody. And so the only cover that the pilot and co-pilot in the second helicopter had was another helicopter that were sniping the Somalis that were coming to kill the two victims of the second crash. And they were laying down fire, and they asked for permission to land. Hey, we have to land. We have to get those two guys out of there. They said, no, we don't have anybody to cover you if you go down there. That we're not only going to lose those two, but we're going to lose you and quite possibly a third helicopter. So they waited a little while. They kept firing. They kept sniping at the Somalis, trying to keep them back, trying to keep them from taking over that second helicopter. And they asked again, listen, we got to go down because these guys are beginning to take over the second, where they're getting close. They're coming in. We don't have enough rounds to keep these guys from coming in. And they said, no, you can't go down on the second request. So finally, on the third request, listen, we are going down there because they don't have a chance. If we don't go down there, they don't have a chance. And not only that, if they do die, they're going to take their bodies. We need to get down there. And they finally gave the third helicopter permission to bring two guys down. Their names are Mike Durant and Randy Shugart, who went down and eventually lost their lives. It was, I believe, the pilot, either the pilot or co-pilot was a sole survivor of the men that were in that second helicopter. One person was a sole survivor, but the guys that went down there lost their life in an attempt to try to rescue their two other things. So let me, in telling that story, let me speed up and get to a paragraph that I think it's important when we talk about transcendent causes. And I think this is important. And I try to get through it without getting emotional, but I get a little choked up. So I'm just warning you now that there's a huge chance. I've been emotional all day. So this, if I lose it, it's because of it's who I am. And that's just the way that it is. So get over it. All right. So in this paragraph, so this is important. I need you to listen to me when I'm talking about transcendent causes. All right, here we go. So we fought an 18-hour battle that day. Most people don't realize this, but we were fighting over two of our dead comrades, the pilot and co-pilot, and we took more casualties because we refused to leave them behind. We couldn't get those two bodies. Son, just throw something at me. We couldn't get those two bodies extracted from that helicopter, and we were not going to leave. Son of a gun. We were not going to leave the remains of our two men behind. We were fighting over dead bodies. But to us, it didn't matter. Alive or dead, they were our comrades, and they were coming out with us. We knew they would have been there for us were the roles reversed. When Randy Shugart and Gary Gordon made that third request to go down into the street, they knew there wasn't much chance they would come out alive. That's transcendent cause. And so was recovering the bodies of the others who died. The question for today is this: have we assessed our lives to determine who and what is that's worth? Gosh darn it, I can't see through my eyeballs. Sorry. Let me start this one over again. Have we assessed our lives to determine who and what it is that's worth living and dying for? One can be part of today's give me generation, or one can be part of I'll give to you. Shugart and Gordon were givers, not takers. And they gave their lives, but they gave their lives because they had a transcendent cause. Their cause was, at the tactical level, the same for every warrior who's ever been on that battlefield. The guy behind you, in front of you, and on your right and left. And that is an important story to understand, that we have things going on today that require us, to have a transcendent cause. And listening to the speakers today, talking about abortion, talking about our country, talking about the Constitution, and talking about the silent majority, it puts me in this position here to speak to you in this way and to share a story with you, that we have two men here that went down they knew there was a really good, I'm sure, idea in their heads that they go, we're probably not going to get up, but we have to try. We can't sit up here in a helicopter and watch our two comrades just get overtaken by these Somalis a day without doing something, without at least trying. And that's kind of where we are at here in the United States of America right now with this election. We have been lied to. The other side has spied on our president. They have paid for and encouraged the media to hate on our president and to send out a message of hatred for our president and our country. Not just our president, for our country, that our country is racist, that the law enforcement in our country is racist, which is a complete lie. And we are at war. And I know that there's many of you that are thinking, Andy, you're just being really taking this a little bit too far. I'm not. I'm really not. And again, you can listen to all the speakers, watch them tomorrow. We had a number of speakers that spoke on everything that's going on in our country. And we are in a battle. It is not like the Somalis that were coming in there and shooting, but it's not that much different. There is a huge chance that we will lose this country and our Constitution if we don't win this battle. And those of you that are standing by and being quiet and not dropping in an attempt to save our country are taking a back seat. You're hoping that somebody else is going to do it. It doesn't. We need more than just a couple people. We need more than just Charlie Kirk. We need more than just David Harris Jr. We need more than just Dr. Erickson. We need more than just Jack Hibbs to drop in and try to save this country from being overtaken by a radical left. Radicals. They are radicals. The Somalis were radicals. Right? They hated America. They hated Americans, and they were going to kill us at any cost. They were dying to kill us. They were shooting from the third helicopter from where they were before they landed. They were sniping out and taking and killing Somalis as they were coming in. That did not stop them. Right? There wasn't enough. The two of them was not enough to save their comrades on the ground. There's not enough. There's not enough people speaking out. There's not enough people with a transcendent cause attitude to save this country. I do not believe. And I know the polls are probably false. I know that the polls are saying that Biden is ahead by a huge number, according to the news. Listen to me. It is not that huge, but it still may not be enough. It's too close. We cannot have a close election. Our election can't be so close that it looks like it's a tie, because they will win, because they are evil and they don't have our best interest in mind, and they don't care. Remember what I told you about Trump Card, the movie, the documentary by Dinesh D'Souza, when he was interviewing the imam, who is a radical terrorist, explaining that the reason that the radicals, the Middle Eastern terrorist and radical organizations chose, in words, I'm not repeating the exact words he used, but the reason that they chose the liberal platform is because they believe the liberals are stupid. That was his word. Those are his words. They are stupid and they don't have morals. That what they're afraid of are the conservatives and the Republicans, because we do have morals and we have a conscience, that's what he said. Those are his words. the terrorists are choosing to support the liberals. Elon Omar is their name, right? The from Minnesota, and the others, right? They support them with money because they think that they could get them to do anything. They are also against abortion, right? You know that the Muslims are against abortion. You know that in their religion that they would never kill another Muslim, including a baby that's in the womb, but yet they are supporting a Democratic Party that will encourage people to have abortion. They love that the Black community, that's all that they have a platform is to push abortion into the Black community. The organization, what is it called? Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood was created in an effort to diminish the Black population. It is in their history. It is in any history that you read about Planned Parenthood, and it is a means of controlling the birth of Blacks in the Black community, and it's very clear. And yet you have a community, the Muslim community, supporting a liberal platform that supports abortions, even though they don't believe in abortion. The reason being is because they don't have a conscience, they don't have morals. But you have Republicans and you have conservatives who do have morals and do have a conscience, and we won't support it. We choose not to support. We're not going to give money to any organization that does that. But the problem is we're being silent. How can you fight a cause while you're being silent? How can you fight a cause without pulling out a gun? Now, I'm not saying that you're going to go. You know what I'm trying to explain something here, in that you cannot take. You have to take action if you're going to save lives. If you're going to go into battle, you have to go in there armed and ready to go, and have a sense that, hey, this is going to be a fight. There's a chance that I could die. Right? I'm not telling you to take out a gun into the United States of America to do this. I was just trying to make a point in regard to our comrades that were trying to be saved by the military that were being dropped in to try to save these guys. Our gun is our words. Our gun is our vote. Our gun is doing live broadcast and encouraging people to vote, encouraging others to understand the problem with supporting abortion, that you can abort a child at 9 months of age or 9 months in the womb. It's completely ridiculous. And this is just one of the topics. I mean, there's so many other topics that we need to be concerned about, but it was the topic of abortion today that really got me kind of thinking that this is a moment of time, that in some people's idea that this may be a time of transcendent causes because you're afraid to speak out because you may lose everything. And that is true. You might, but is it not worth it? Is it not worth it in the sense that we may not have this country, that you will be able to have the job that you currently have, that you don't have the position that you currently have, that you don't have the things that you love in this world to be able to send. So I have my 5 kids, right? I have 5 kids. 4 of them are young, all the way from 7, 9, 12, 14, and then 26, that I can comfortably at this moment in time, when they want to go get an ice cream or a soda or whatever, that I can say, here's some money, go ahead and go. And they can go out that door, get on a skateboard or a bicycle and ride to the store around the block and go to the store and get it. And I really don't worry that they're going to be attacked or assaulted by some gang member where I live currently, that I feel comfortable that I live in the United States of America, that I have chosen to live in, the city that I've chosen to live in, and sometimes can afford to live in, not currently during the pandemic, but that when things are good, that I can live here and I have a choice to live here and have police that are not defunded and dismantled, that my kids can go out the store and go. Not like Minneapolis, where they give you a card that they give you and say, hey, make sure that when you go to the store, you always go with somebody. Don't take your cell phone because it'll probably be stolen. Try not to take more money than you need to take because it'll probably be stolen. And if somebody pulls the gun on you and points it at you, then just give up whatever it is you have. That there's a card in Minneapolis that they give you that when you go out your door to go to the store, that you can't go alone, that you're probably going to be robbed. That's here in the United States. That's not in Mogadishu. That's not in Iraq. That's not in Afghanistan. It's here in the United States. I choose not to live in that kind of city. The only way that we're going to not have that in this city that I live in Brea, California, or Bakersfield, or whatever area that you live, that you don't currently have that, the only way that you're going to keep that is that if you speak out. And in some cases, that may take a transcendent cause for you to do that, because by speaking out, you may lose something. You may lose a friend, and you may lose a family member. You may lose your job. You may have your house attacked. You may have your car attacked, but it's going to be worth it in the end if we can save our country and if we can save our Constitution. And that's my message for you today. And look at that. I did that in 25 minutes. I have more here to read, but I'm going to save it because I can't seem to get through the reading with my eyeballs that get water in them. I don't know why my eyeballs are leaking. I was just going to talk about deadbeat dads and working women in this book. And it's really interesting. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and read it, only because I planned on reading it. And I hope you don't mind. But I think it's important because it talks about another way of being transcendent in the sense that if we're going to be saving children because mothers do not think that having that child will have a father figure, perhaps, because, unwed mothers that are giving birth that don't have a father figure, in many cases, there's a higher percentage of that child, if it's a boy in particular, will end up in prison, or end up taking drugs, or end up in trouble of some sort. That when you have a child that grows up with a father, the instances of prison time for that child as it grows up to be an adult is really high. And so one of the things that this book talks about, I think, is really important. And I might as well read it because I think it's important enough to read it, that you understand that you have this opportunity as an adult. If you're an adult watching this, that you may have an opportunity to begin some program, perhaps, or to help somebody who chose not to abort their child, even though that thought crossed their head, that they may need a father figure in their life. So let me go ahead and read it. And I'm just going to go ahead and do this because I think it's good. So it's under the heading here. It says deadbeat dads and working women. And so let me go ahead and read this. There's an epidemic in the United States, fatherless children. Of course, every child had a father to begin with, but some fathers don't live long enough to see their boys grow into men. Others, thanks to divorce, are Disneyland dads who occasionally take their children out for a day or two, but don't live with the family. Still, others simply don't take responsibility for their sons and daughters, financially or otherwise. The absentee father fails to be a man on a mission, someone whose kids grow up with a caring, generous, and godly man, a provider in their lives. That is most certainly a transcendent cause, or at least it should be. Unfortunately, all too often, in cases of unwed mothers or divorced parents, fathers have a way of disappearing and leaving a huge empty place in their sons' and daughters' lives. What does that have to do with you? I'll give you a couple of examples. Again, this is a book written by Lieutenant General retired William Boykin. And he says here, I'll give you a couple examples of how a man can provide something valuable to fatherless children without spending a dime. One single mom I know told me about a man, a Christian, who owned a gym. Mark was a physical therapist and was a bodybuilder as a younger man. But Mark knew about more than weight training and nutrition. And he could see the woman's boys were entering their teenage years and needed some specific guidance. So he started showing them how to put to good use the hormones surging through their adolescent bodies, how to build strength and size. He helped them with their occasional sports injuries too, and gave them some man-to-man advice about how to deal with life in the locker room. Mark didn't give the boys or their mom a dime and wasn't around forever, but he became an informal coach to those two teenagers for a couple of years. His cause to make strong-looking young men out of a couple of awkward, skinny kids. He provided just what they needed, just when they needed it. And it goes on and tells a couple other stories. And I just want to read that one example, that there's opportunity out there. If you know how to work on a car, if you know how to change the brakes on a vehicle, if you know how to do live broadcasting, if you know how to edit video, if you know how to do gardening, if you need to do anything, and you have a neighbor who has that's a fatherless child, and you have that opportunity to teach them something and spend a couple minutes with them, that may be your opportunity to do something transcendent, a transcendent cause that you might not otherwise think about. That you have this opportunity as a man in your community to go somewhere and find somebody that needs your help, a teenager, a young boy that needs help from a man to learn how to be a man, because they may not have that opportunity in the situation they're in at the time. And I think that is a great thing. I know that at our church, the old church that I used to go to, Yorba Linda Friends Church, there were a few men that did that very thing. We talked about it in an organization, or a course that we were in called Men with No Regrets. And in that course, it was all men, of course, because it was called Men with No Regrets. And it was 9 months, and we met every week, every Thursday. You couldn't miss more than 2 days. If you did, you were kicked out. But during that time, we put together a couple programs where some of the guys took some boys fishing. They did some one of the guys owned a car repair shop and brought some boys in to teach them how to change a tire, showed them how to change the oil, how to change a battery, and some of the simple things like windshield wipers and that kind of stuff. And what else? There were some of the guys that did some other stuff. I think there were some gym guys in there that told some kids how to work out properly and that kind of stuff. So it turned out to be a pretty good program. Unfortunately, these things don't last very long. And so I think that that's something that could surely be used in a community. And just think about that opportunity that you might have. So I just wanted to make sure and end with that, to make sure that there's another thing you can do. The most important thing that we have to do now in the next several weeks, which is, 16 days or something like that? I forget how many days it is. It's not very long. We don't have very long for you to speak out, but you have to begin to speak out and begin to maybe possibly change some people's minds. What they talked about today is to find 10 people to get them to go and vote. And if each person found 10 people to go and vote, encourage them to vote, or pick them up and take them with their mail-in ballots directly to Calvary Chapel Hills, Chino Hill, where you can take your ballots and drop them off safely so that you know for sure they're going to get counted. Then do that. Grab somebody that you know that may not vote and encourage them to vote Republican. Have them vote red. Man, if in California we could turn California red and save it, I think that would just make my year. It would make everything that I've been doing as far as these broadcasts and reaching out and going to these rallies and getting involved in a little bit of a riot here in Yorba Linda. All of that would make it so much worthwhile. I'm not sure if that's a good sentence. I'm obviously not going to take a teenage boy and teach them how to speak. That is not my superpower, but I may I may teach them how to do a live broadcast or something. All right, let's see what a couple people had to say here. Hey, Don, that's a sexist program. What is wrong with you? I know. I'm so sorry. I'm out of thing. I'll fill the need. Skills fill the need. What else in there? I'm out of order here, probably. Somalia or Minnesota. You don't know. I mean, they're so similar. The fact that in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, that they have to give to their community instructions on how not to die when you leave your house to go to the store. This is how you go to the store. You may lose your cell phone. You make sure you go with somebody else because it's unsafe. I mean, it really is that is crazy. It should not be. And then it's the same city who's defunding and dismantling their law enforcement. They're giving you instructions how not to get robbed and now how not to die while they dismantle and defund their police department. This is really crazy. That we are losing our country. And this is why that I feel so strongly about what it is that I'm talking about. And I'm so sorry. I'm looking. They're going to be out of context now, so I'm so sorry. Thinking that you don't have. Let me see what this is. I'm thinking you don't have connections to enough people. Amy Feltz chime in. He doesn't know the numbers. Oh, I'm so sorry. I missed something. I missed it. Is that me? What, I don't know the numbers? I'm not. You're not passionate and right. I'm not sure what's going on here. I need to be more passionate. Maybe you're being sarcastic. I hope. I saw that Amy did put in, I'm not afraid to speak up. Not anymore. Boy, you've been doing it like crazy. And I do. But I'm afraid to put a Trump sign in my yard because it would be asking for trouble. Well, I mean, I know. The people we're talking about today, like when I wear these shirts out, like, I'm glad you wear those shirts because I could not do that. I don't feel safe to do that. Poor plan, not having a plan. I'm so sorry. And I obviously was talking to something way back then. I wanted to look for the URL that Amy put up. Hey, April, nice to see you. Oh, here it is. So there, actually, let me see if I can't click on that really quick and show you what this is. Wow, my kids, not this son over here, but one of my kids put something on my computer that makes everything look odd. Hold on one second. I'm just gonna try this. Bring this up really quick. What's it called again? Official.
Non-essential. Stuff.
Yeah.
Non-essential.
Oh, yep. I found the right page. Okay. Let me go ahead and share this page really quick. And just to kind of show you what it looks like really fast. There's some new comments coming up. Here we go. I just saw this comment. Amy felt you should probably set something on fire. All right, here we go. Let me bring this up here. And this is the website. Oops. Talks about everything non-essential, plant-based, Planned Parenthood on there. But it will be tomorrow. Oh, man. It was a great event. I'm trying to... Oh, here we go. The speakers. That's what I wanted to bring up. So here we go. So let me go ahead and get rid. Let me go ahead. Oh, there it is. I am full screen. Let me get rid of my lower third. So Charlie Kirk Cameron, that's the other name. He's actually the one who mostly put it on. I believe. I think it was his organization that put it on, from what I remember. Where's that? There it is. Dinesh D'Souza, Jack Hibbs, who is our pastor at our church. Sissy Graham Lynch was there. She spoke. She did a great job. She spoke a lot about abortion. Rob McCoy was outstanding. He is a pastor in Thousand Oaks and really got the crowd going. I thought that was really good. David J. Harris Jr., Dr. Dan Erickson was amazing. He was the very first speaker. If you don't miss anything, don't miss Dan Erickson. He started the broadcast. Once he speaks, you're gonna be in it. And then Danny Goki was there, and he sang, and that was outstanding. He did a great job. What a great singer. I loved his backup choir that he had there. They were moving it and shaking it. They were awesome. They were amazing. Did an amazing job. All right. So thank you, Amy, for putting that up there for me and giving it to the group. And go ahead and click on that and find that. But think about this, all right, and share it with people. If you like these broadcasts at all, it would be important to me that you would share this out because I am being throttled like crazy. I can't find my videos when I do a search. So it takes you actually physically having to share them out into either private groups or other groups that may be interested in what this broadcast had to say. Make sure and check out my podcast. You're going to go to the Andy Falco. Where'd it go? Here it is. You're going to go to andyfalcopodcast.com, the andyfalcopodcast.com. That will take you to iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio is where one of the places my podcast lives, and you'll go there and click on that and subscribe. The more subscribers, the reason I'm telling you to do that, because there is a huge chance, as we've seen over the last couple of days, that and on YouTube, conservative YouTube channels are all being brought down. Any conservative speech, they're actually taking down their YouTube channels. It has been happening over the last several days. I don't know if it's still happening, but I know that it was. And on Twitter, we saw that Kayleigh McEnany's Twitter account was shut down for several hours and then brought back up. And so we don't know what's going to happen in the near future. What's going to happen if President Trump loses, which is not going to happen. I hate to even put that into the atmosphere. But if he loses, you can't imagine what is going to happen, because there will be an uprising. There's no doubt in my mind that conservatives who were silent will think, we should have listened to Andy. We should have listened to Dan Bongino, who's been telling us not to be silent, and we were silent, and look what happened. Our president lost, and now we are in a mess. And then what's going to end up happening is they're going to be in control. And if they're in control of the Senate and Congress, we are in deep crap. No doubt in my mind. If they take the presidency, Congress, and the Senate, and then pack the Supreme Court, we're in deep crap. I know that you think this is crazy, but haven't we seen enough crazy stuff to see that is a possibility, a very strong possibility? That is what they want, right? That's what they are fighting for. They're not fighting just to win the presidency. They're not fighting just to get a couple people on the Supreme Court. They're fighting to have the presidency, Congress, Senate, and the Supreme Court. If they get those things, we are done. And our country will definitely divide. You think it's divided now? It will divide. And it will be bad. It will not be pretty. And all the social media platforms, the Twitters, the YouTubes, the Instagrams, all of them will become a place only for liberal speak, where they will organize and they will get bigger and stronger, and we will be in deep crap. I want to say another word, but my son's staring at me. A bunch of deep caca is what we're going to be into. And if you're not listening to me, if you're not paying attention, it's going to be on you guys. Because here I am speaking out 2 or 3 times a day, as much as I possibly can, to get people, to get one person to find 5 other people to speak out. If it's to find 10 people to begin to vote, you have to do this. There's no doubt in my mind that we will be in deep crap if we don't do this, because that is what they're trying to do. Right? They are angry and they are vocal and they don't have morals and they don't care. They are not against burning up our country in order to get what they want. As you can see, you look at Seattle, you look at Portland, you look at Minneapolis, you look at New York, you look at Los Angeles, you look at all these cities where they've literally burned down their own cities, the place where they live. They allow it to be burned down. The mayors and the city council members have gone out there to help them burn down their city. If you don't think they mean business, then you are sadly mistaken. Then you're watching the wrong channels and you're not paying attention. We will lose it all. And so you need to pay attention to what I'm telling you. Is tomorrow's replay today's event? Yes. Tomorrow, what they're doing is they're going to play the event that happened today tomorrow as if it was live. They asked us before they got, I have a bunch of footage, but they told us, please don't share it on social media because we want people to really kind of think or have the feeling that what they're seeing tomorrow is the live version. But they want to make sure and edit it. That they like when they started that today, Danny Goki's mic wasn't working, so they want to make sure and get that out and make sure that they have a clean show. And so they're going to be broadcasting the recording live tomorrow to make it look like it's live. So that'll be on tomorrow. Everything that happened today will be tomorrow, is what I understand. Got to watch Love Dare. I'm just saying it's a must see. All right, I'll check that out. I keep thinking they never thought she would lose. He can't. He just can't. He can't. He can't lose. He simply cannot. It's not that we don't want him to, or it'd be nice if he would win. No, he cannot lose. The Republican Party cannot lose. We're not voting in Donald Trump. We're voting in democracy. We're voting in the Constitution of the United States. We're voting for the United States of America. It's not that he can't lose. It's not that we're voting for Donald Trump. We're voting for the United States of America. That's how you have to look at it. You may hate Donald Trump. You may hate his tweets. You may hate his personality. You may hate his past. I don't care. But voting for him is not voting for Donald Trump and his personality and his tweets. Voting for him is voting for the United States of America. All right, good. All right, my friends. Thank you for watching. Make sure and subscribe to my podcast, because if I get shut down, that's where I'll have to live for a while. And I would appreciate the support. All right, that is it. I think I was waiting for another comment to come up. All right, my friends. I love you very much. God bless you, and I will see you tomorrow. All right, take care. Bye.